Okay, we are getting towards that time of year. Once again, we're at the end of 2023. It's been a relatively stacked year, in my opinion. A lot of surprises, particularly for me, with certain artists that I wasn't particularly looking forward to releasing some of my favorite music of 2023. I'm going to go through my 50 favorite songs. Again, only rule that applies, like previous years, one per artist. Start of the list is Paint the Sky by Lil Yachty, and 49 is Jersey Love by Groovy. 48 is Window to the Soul, super emotional track from Navy Blue, and 47 is Dying Star, the final track off Ashnikko's latest album. 46 is I Want You to Know by Mr. James Blake, and 45 is Marvin Descending from Christine and the Queens. 44, one of my favorite dance tracks of the year, One of Your Girls by Troye Sivan. 43 is Princess Going Digital by Amaarae. I always forget how to pronounce her name. 42, I Don't Like My Mind by Mitski, from the best Mitski album I've heard so far, at least. And 41 is Flooded the Face by Lil Uzi Vert. 40 is Trouble Man from The Alchemist, from one of his many releases this year, featuring Boldy James and TF. And 39, another Scaring the Hose track, that's Soft Landing by Billy Woods and Kenny Segal. 38 is Smooth as Shit, I Wish You Roses by Kali Uchis. And 37, Nice to Me by Piri and Tommy. 36, with some of the coldest bars once again of the year, Flashback by Boldy James. 35 is from an artist I don't know how to pronounce her name, so I'm really sorry. Last Laugh by Sechenya, whatever. It's a bad bit track and it goes hard. 34 is Niggardly from Arm & Hammer, and 33 is The Caliphate from Earl and The Alchemist featuring Vince Staples, one of the best featured verses of the year. 32, possibly the biggest mainstream rap song of the year, Paint the Town Red by Doja Cat. I absolutely love this song. 31, a lot of Gex. Billy Knows Jamie from 100 Gex from their latest album. Just a fucking insane song. 30 is from Young Thug's latest album, which I didn't think was anywhere near his best, but Abracadabra with Travis Scott is by far the highlight. 29 is Washed Away by Kalila. Ethereal is a fucking understatement to describe this entire album, really, but this song really sets the whole thing in motion. Speaking of emotion, 28, Dancing Circles from Sampha, just a beautiful song. And 27 is Energy by Digga D. 26, Massacre by J Hus, just reminding everyone just why he's, in my opinion, one of the best rappers in the UK. Crazy flows, vocals are on point, his bars are on point. It's fucking hilarious as well, but it's smooth. And 25, halfway through the list, is kind of one of the biggest like meme songs of the year, but it is a genuinely good song as well. I'm Just Ken by Ryan Gosling from Barbie. I don't care. I love this song. I love this film. It's one of the highlights of the film, that whole dance scene, just neon and just so over the top and camp. I love it. 24 is Liar by Paramore, and This Is Why, which is one of my favorite albums of the year, is a really like upbeat, quick, fast record, lots of like tight bass and drums and stuff. And Liar is one of the more down-tempo songs, but it's really the emotional core of the album. It gets more and more emotional as it gets towards its climax. And for me, there's something so like delicate and intimate about this song. And 23, I promise I didn't group these together on purpose. It's just a happy coincidence. Boy Is a Liar, Part 2 by Pink Pantheress and Ice Spice. It goes hard, and Pink Pantheress's debut album, I thought, lived up to expectations, but there's something just about how catchy this song. It's so cartoony and wacky and zany, more so than most other Pink Pantheress' tracks. Like, a lot of her tracks are characterized by light, airy vocals, like she's like floating on top of it like a butterfly or something, but Ice Spice's delivery and kind of like gruff voice in comparison to Pink Pantheress, I think works perfectly. 22 is My Eyes from Utopia by Travis Scott, and it wasn't until after listening to this song for a few times that a few people pointed out to me the similarities with some Frank Ocean songs, and I can kind of see that now. But nonetheless, even if there is some Frank Ocean inspiration, it doesn't detract from how fluid and organic this song is. It has 3 or 4 different transitionary periods. And whilst I enjoyed Utopia quite a bit, one of its drawbacks for me was some of Travis's lyrics felt kind of hollow. And this was one of the rare exceptions where you felt the genuine emotion and heartfelt nature of the song come through his songwriting, which is something I wish Travis Scott would show more of, because when he does it, he's very, very fucking good at it. 21 is from one of the most surprising albums of the year. I'm not saying like I love this album or anything, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I ever thought I would. The first song from Ray Shremmerd's new album, Origami, brackets Hotties. This song is catchy as shit. Like, I genuinely think this song is just as well put together and fun and catchy as something like Black Beatles. It's kind of been said to death at this point, but Sway Lee's knack for catchy as shit hooks, just, it doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon. The beat goes crazy. It's the kind of song that's moody, but also appropriate to play at parties at the same time. And even like Slim Jimmy's delivery and verse, I'm not the biggest fan of Slim Jimmy. I think it's no secret that most of the appeal for Ray Shremmerd is because of Sway Lee, but Slim Jimmy's verse I thought was not that bad. There's some funny bars in there, and it's just a really fun fucking song. Number 20 is the title track, Scaring the Hoes, from JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown. With this being the title track, it was important that it conveyed the chaotic nature and self-referential through line that was going through this album, and I think it did it perfectly. And to be honest, it is one of the most batshit insane moments on the album, for an album that has a lot of those moments, but just the strange clapping sample and the super high-pitched guitar, blown to fuck out drums and guitars, and Danny Brown sounds like, I don't even know, like, it's, especially in now that we've got Krawanta, which is so low key and mellow in comparison to most of his previous releases. This is the most Danny Brown isms we've heard in a long while on this specific song, but they bounce off each other so well. It's the best display, I think, on the entire album of their amazing chemistry. Number 19 is one of the most emotional songs of the year for me, I think. That's Shit Talk by Sufjan Stevens. Now, of course, I wasn't aware of the personal situation surrounding Sufjan Stevens and, you know, having a partner that had passed away prior to the release of this album. So going into it with that context adds, you know, a whole extra dimension. But, you know, the song on its own it's a long song and it's sprawling and it covers so many different emotions and stuff. But it's just like, it's so brutal but like beautiful at the same time. And you know what Sufjan Stevens seems to be describing in this song is this, you know, inevitably doomed relationship, but trying to come to terms with the seemingly contradictory idea of knowing this thing is coming to an end, but still holding a place in your heart for that person, still loving them, but just being emotionally exhausted and you can't do this anymore. One of the lines I think that really hits home is towards the end of the first verse, where he says, "I will always love you, but I cannot live with you." And it's that just raw honesty with himself and with the world. And it feels like a song about putting yourself first, but also kind of feeling guilty for doing so. And I think this is a song that really tackles the nuances of like actual human relations. It's not an idealized thing. There isn't really a happy ending or a sad ending. It's more just about expressing and getting out those really complicated emotions. And I think it's this entire album I loved. I love this album, but this song specifically, I thought was just, I don't really have the words to describe it. I thought it was just fucking amazing. 18 is Celibate by Danny Brown featuring Mike. Half the reason this song is on here is because of the chorus. I think the chorus is fucking hilarious, but also really clever. The beat, which you can see in my reaction to it, the beat is so unique, it's so spacey, and like, what gets me particularly is just like that kick that's like once every like 8 bars, and it makes it hit just so fucking hard. And the song, it feels light. It feels light and surreal and like weighty at the same time. Mike's featured verse is crazy. Again, one of the best featured verses of the year, in my opinion. And, you know, Krawanta as a whole is a really, really consistent album. It's hard to pluck one song out of context, which I rarely do. Like, when I listen to this album, I'm just listening to the whole thing. So it's hard to choose one highlight, but if there was one, for me, it has to be Celibate. Number 17 is Virginia Beach by Drake. And whilst I didn't really care for All the Dogs at all, I thought it was way too long, and I thought it was mainly just Drake sounding like a 19-year-old who's been messaging women on Instagram for the first time in his life. That's what it sounded like to me. But Virginia Beach, it set the standards way too high. The Frank Ocean sample, high pitch sample, is fucking beautiful. Drake's hook and vocal melodies instantly sticky and catchy, and I don't know why. Even on some of Drake's weakest projects, I had the same thing last year. I wasn't a fan of Her Loss at all, but the opening track, Rich Flex, went absolutely crazy, and I feel exactly the same way again, because Virginia Beach might be my favorite opening Drake track since Tuscan Leather. But yeah, I love Virginia Beach. That Frank Ocean sample as well. Again, I hate to keep going on about Frank Ocean on a Drake song, but I think it's you rarely hear Frank Ocean's voice sampled, so it is immediately striking, and I'm glad that there is so much of it. Number 16 is another song that was featured on the Barbie soundtrack, and the song that is, easily the most important song in the movie. That's What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish. Now, I'm so glad I didn't listen to this song. I didn't listen to any of the songs apart from, I think, the Dua Lipa one, which is like right at the start of the film with the big dance number. It's a really fun song. I didn't listen to any of the songs apart from that before I went to see Barbie. I went to see it on the first day. And I know this came out, I think, a week or two before, and I'm really glad because that moment in the film, with the montage and, Barbie effectively becoming... If you haven't seen Barbie, I'm going to spoil it, but why haven't you fucking seen Barbie? It's been like 7 months. But that, really, really emotionally poignant point in the film, and this song like slowly creeps in. I thought it was fucking perfect. And lyrically as well, I think this is one of Billie Eilish's best written songs ever, it's strange to say because a lot of Billie Eilish's music is very personal, but this feels like it transcends that, where it feels very personal, but it also feels like so many people around the world can relate to what she's saying in the song, but obviously specifically women. For me, the lyrics do this amazing dual function of describing Billie Eilish's rise to fame, but also just the realities of women in the spotlight, but also women in general. I used to float, now I just fall down. What was I made for? This commodification of people's bodies and their image and all these expectations that they're meant to live up to, which for someone like Billie Eilish, who's achieved this crazy fame so young, is obviously going to be very personal to her. But at the same time, these themes can be, unfortunately, but they apply to most women in the world. That's obviously, I'm not a woman, so I'm not going to know what it feels like, but it communicates such a specific experience. And, I guess that experience, as a man looking at it, that experience of having to come to terms with the fact that you have to, as a woman just living and existing in the fucking world, you kind of always have to be watching your back and always have to be on edge and always have to be prepared to, to navigate some really, really fucked up situations that no one really should. And I think, this song does, it does all these functions so amazingly at the same time. And that's just beside like Billie Eilish's vocal performance on this song, which I think is just like angelic. Number 15 is Bending Hectic by The Smile. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know what the fuck this song is about. I don't really know. Like, it sounds like, of course, this is from The Smile, Tom York and Johnny Greenwood's side project, in preparation for the release of their new album. This is an almost 10-minute like epic, and it starts out so quiet and subtle. And I don't know why Tom York loves writing about car crashes. I'm fucking OK Computer opens with Airbag. But this seems to be describing some sort of near-death experience. And Tom York and death, they go hand in hand, of course. But like sonically, it sounds jangly, but it's also beautiful at the same time. I think that's what is really characterizing a lot of The Smile's music. Like it sounds like a bit of OK Computer and a bit of In Rainbows as well, where it's this like organic, unsettling. Like when I hear this song, I'm thinking of like trees like growing at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm thinking of like, this is going to sound so specific, but I'm thinking of like the fucking maze in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire where Cedric Diggory gets fucking snatched. Like that's what I'm thinking of, but I don't know why. But Johnny Greenwood's strings, the guitars, just the crazy crescendo as well. I love everything about this. And if this is an indicator as to what their new album's going to sound like next year, then it might even top A Light for Attracting Attention. Number 14 is, again, from an album where almost every song is a standout and it's hard to pick one out. Pardon me. But Paris, Texas by Lana Del Rey featuring SYML. The song's effectively a piano ballad, and it feels like Lana being this nomad and wandering various places around the world as she's leaving behind what seems to be a pretty unhappy and unhealthy relationship. But for a song that lyrically could be quite sad, it feels uplifting and inspirational, and I like the fact that it feels so weightless, because it does feel like Lana is describing this weight being lifted off her shoulders, and not being tempted to look back at whatever was in the past and only move forward, and realizing that I need to leave whatever this is behind. And it's left kind of vague, which is I like, because it kind of transcends the subject matter itself. Almost every song on this album is amazing, but this is my particular favorite. Number 13. One of the catchiest songs of the year, in my opinion, Familiarity by Teezo Touchdown. The lyrics first of all, his vocal performance I think is amazing. I really, really like Teezo's vocals. It reminds me of just being in your room and just belting out your favorite songs. You don't care that the notes aren't perfect or anything, because it's just you in your room. It feels like I'm listening to someone who is really talented just singing songs in his room. The lyrics as well kind of add to that. I think if anyone is, experienced something like this in their, early, mid, even late 20s, or even beyond that, where he feels trapped and he feels like he has this dream he wants to chase and no one believes in him. And, it can sound quite cliche, and it's a story that's been told over and over again that, I will achieve my dream. It's a pretty simple premise, but he describes it in such a down-to-earth way that it feels really, really genuine. Some of the bars are particularly timely. I'm overworked and underpaid. I do the most for minimum wage. Bars, if you've ever done some particular jobs, if you've ever done I used to do but I always maintained the hardest job I ever did was when I was 17 or 18, and I think it was in between uni, so I must have been 19, and I would do bar work at the Chelsea Flower Show, and to this day I think it's the hardest job I ever did. It was 10 hours on your feet, just serving all these fucking rich white people who were clearly off their fucking rocker on coke and shit, clearly, and you had a 30-minute break and you were being paid £6 an hour. When I hear this song, that's what I'm thinking. I'm overworked and underpaid. I think of that time in my life in between uni doing these, really physically grueling jobs for fucking pennies. But yeah, aside from that, I love the guitars. I love the drums. I love Teezo's vocal performance and just how expressive he is as well. Number 12 is maybe one of the most unlikely collabs. I don't think anyone would have predicted this collab. The Weeknd, Playboi Carti and Madonna with Popular. Now, of course, from the soundtrack to The Idol, I watched 1.5 episodes of The Idol and I couldn't take it anymore. I thought it was terrible. I love The Weeknd as an artist. I think he's one of the best pop stars we have. But as a screenwriter and an actor, I'm sorry, it's not there. But Popular. Popular feels like it feels like a throwback to a 2000s Neptune song. It's super funky. It's not something we've really ever heard The Weeknd on, or Playboi Carti, or Madonna. This sound is not any of these artists' fortes. And that's part of the appeal for me. If you think about, obviously Madonna is Madonna. She's been doing it for 40 years. Playboi Carti's, coming off the back of still promoting Whole Lotta Red 3 years later with his Antagonist tour, and there's that sound associated with him. The Weeknd's been on his 80s synth pop disco wave, and this kind of eschews all of that for just something so... It feels like it's been thrown together, but I say that as a compliment because it feels really, really natural and organic. The hook is amazing. It was catchy as soon as I fucking heard it. I was a bit worried about how Madonna would fit on this song. And I think she fits kind of perfectly. She got the memo, she got the vibe, and she fit it perfectly. Playboi Carti's contribution has split opinion. I think it's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's really funny that he says about 5 words with this bizarre inflection over this smooth as fuck beat. It can be jarring for some, for me, it works, and it's something I can't really articulate, which is kind of the appeal with a lot of Playboi Carti's music. It's just more about the feeling. And even, the outro. There's been a lot of, over the last few years, Mike Dean does a lot of these, Mike Dean-isms outros. And at one point, it felt like it was kind of becoming a parody of itself, where it's like, oh, Mike Dean's, he's got to do his, his crazy synth outro. And sometimes like, oh, here we go again. But this, it felt different, and it didn't feel like it was just being grand and having this spectacle for the sake of it. It felt like the song actually naturally needed it to finish properly. I love this song. Number 11 is Blood Bunny by Yule. And I wasn't really sure what this song was about until I read a bit more about Yule, and they've described themselves as, this artistic cyborg entity. And it feels like a deliberate attempt to counteract the endless labels that get thrown upon people in the public eye. And that kind of contextualized one of the lyrics where Yule says, "Don't you feel so pure when you don't have a body anymore?" And, freeing themselves from that judgment and that stigma that surrounds a lot of people, and especially people who, eschew, gender binaries. The song is haunting, but it's pretty, and it's light as a feather at the same time, and it's got a hint of something dark, like the lyrics. There's a hint of violence about the lyrics as well, which makes it kind of unsettling. But Yule has utilized that vibe and that image to their benefit. Number 10 into the top 10, Smoke by Caroline Polachek. And a lot of these songs are from albums where it's so hard to just take one out. This is one of the best albums of the year. Almost every song is amazing, but Smoke in particular, it did something to me. This was one of those songs where it's like, as soon as I heard that first line, I was like, she's onto something, where she says it's just smoke floating over the volcano. I had, like, my mind was just ticking. Just so many images entered my mind. Just the first one was just the idea of like willful ignorance and just blissfully ignoring impending doom. But of course, in the context of the album, Caroline had said she was making Scorny music, which is a combination of scary and horny, and the smoke is the red flag, I would guess, in that context. And you're just so blissfully unaware. But aside from that, musically, it builds and builds. It builds. I love where she goes into this like rapid fire, and she keeps that going for like 4 or 5 lines. I think it's fucking amazing. And it feels like, even though this is the second to last song, it feels like the end of the album, and the final song feels like the epilogue. This is the emotional crescendo, and it makes sense for a song about a fucking volcano to be as such. Number 9, the best R&B song of the year, and it is an R&B song, even though this artist isn't known for R&B, it's an R&B song. Collage by Carly Rae Jepsen. I first heard this, I've been a fan of a lot of Carly Rae Jepsen's music, and she's known for her embracing of like a lot of 80s aesthetic, a lot of synth pop, disco, shit like that. But this was just like super fucking like funky and smooth and sultry and smoky, and a sound like this entire album was kind of like that. But this song particularly was like, where the fuck did this come from? If you were to hear the song and the melody without the lyrics, you might think it's this seductive kind of romantic song, but it really is kind of a sad song and a bittersweet song. One of the lyrics, similarly actually to the Paris, Texas song by Lana, like coming to terms and coming to grips with the hard reality of like having to leave something and acknowledging that it's really fucking hard to do, but knowing that you have to do it. And she says it more explicitly, where she says like, leaving you was the hardest thing I had to do. I'm paraphrasing, but leaving you was the hardest thing to do, but I was living like a servant to you. She manages to balance these, these really, really grand, weighty emotions with a song that is just so fucking funky at the same time. And I love songs that do those things at the same time. Number 8 is one of the best bangers of the year, one of the best pop bangers of the year. Don't Care. Get Him Back by Olivia Rodrigo. This is a song that's grown on me so much in the last few weeks. I listened to the album when it first came out, and I enjoyed the album. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I enjoyed Getting Back. I was like, yeah, this is actually kind of a cool song. And I've been going back to it more and more, and I'm just getting more and more addicted to it. I think, when Olivia Rodrigo dropped Sour and the singles like Deja Vu and Good For You, I thought those singles had they had really good senses of humor, and they were quite sarcastic and sardonic and things like that. But this is, I genuinely think, has genuinely hilarious lyrics. Like one of the lyrics where she says, I want to kiss his face with an uppercut. I want to meet his mum just to tell her that her son sucks. Like that's actually fucking hilarious. But also it's in the midst of this, like, the emotions she's describing, these two polar opposite forces, like fighting against each other, like this pure hate and justified hate for this person who's clearly not a very nice person, but at the same time, like, you still want them back, and you hate yourself for wanting that person back. And in the chorus, it's like this childhood anthemic, I imagine, I don't know, I'm not American, so I don't know what the fuck a pep rally is, but I imagine like this is the kind of thing that they would sing at one of those, whatever it is. But yeah, the songwriting is where it really shines. Like half of the song is like laid back, half sung, half spoken, half rapped lyrics. And then it gets to this, it builds, a lot of Olivia Rodrigo's songs do this, where it builds and builds and builds, and it just like explodes. And I think she really has a really unique knack for harnessing these really, really specific emotions. And for a song like this, it's throwback, it feels super 2000s, especially with the, I wanna make it, I'm not a good singer, but it feels very 2000s, but it doesn't feel, it doesn't feel derivative. It doesn't just feel, oh, I heard this in 2004 on fucking MTV Rocks. It doesn't sound like that. It sounds new. It sounds fresh. And it sounds really, it sounds genuine to Olivia Rodrigo's life. It doesn't feel like she's trying to play the part of someone with how she delivers or how she sings or what she wants to write about. And this song it's just really fun. It's just such a fun song. Number seven is one of the most beautiful songs of the fucking year, and I don't care. Bigger Than Everything by Yeat. I've enjoyed a lot of Yeat's music since I discovered him, only like less than 2 years ago. And this feels like the evolution of Yeat. This is bigger, grander, more epic, more cinematic than anything he's put out. Of course, produced by Benny X, who seems to produce almost everything for Yeat nowadays. I think it's a really, really creative partnership that they have now. But it opens with these beautiful pianos and then just like deep fucking 808s and shit. But Yeat goes up and down in his register. He starts super low, and in the chorus he gets super high. Really dynamic, and like lyrically, it's nothing to scream home about as well, because the appeal of Yeat isn't in his pure songwriting, although I do think he's a talented songwriter. It's in his delivery and how expressive he is. And this is maybe the best example I've ever heard of, I got diamonds on my hair, I got diamonds on my beat, like all of that shit. He goes full throttle with it in this song. And I think it really, really pays off. I fucking love this song. Number 6 is Laughing Song from Black Country New Road's live album. Now, of course, first released without Isaac Wood, and they've gone to sharing singing duties, but most of this album is sung by Tyler Hyde, I believe that is her name. And like her voice, obviously, first of all, it's a woman's voice now, not Isaac Wood, so obviously there's that difference, but everything about it's so different, but also it feels really familiar, where there's a vulnerability and a rawness to her voice which I don't think can be fabricated. It has to come from a place of genuine emotion, and she has this like warbled, almost like a scared child. It sounds very strange, but I think it's really, really beautiful. And this song is, and I think, a lot of Black Country New Road fans, myself included, you can't help but think of Isaac Wood when lyrics like these come up. And I don't know if they're intentional or not, but I'll take it on the surface. And I think this might be just about a relationship or someone close in their life who's no longer there. And just like, it's just a song about like recognizing that hole that it leaves. And that's just beside just the string arrangement, the horn arrangements, the guitars, the drums, the vocal delivery, everything is just so like, every song on this live album as well, it feels like the world is like on the line. It feels so dramatic and full of tragedy and all of these things. And it's another song where the opening lines are so powerful. Tyler sings, I remember when I used to laugh truthfully without wearing a mask. And it just articulates, the whole song articulates just that feeling of emotional exhaustion and feeling like I can't put up this facade anymore. And it's really like a lot of Black Country New Road songs, it's really fucking sad. On the flip side of feeling really sad, number 5 is just one of the most replayable songs of the fucking year. In Her Mood by Ice Spice. This song, stranglehold on my fucking life, this song. It was my most played song of the year on Spotify. To no surprise, because this is my getting ready song. If I'm getting ready to do literally anything, if I'm just getting dressed, or if I'm going to see a film, or I'm going to meet some mates for a drink or whatever, and I'm just getting ready, this is the song that plays, maybe even in my head. Again, the song is not that deep. Like, damn, she in her mood, she lit, get money too. Bars, Shakespeare is looking down on Ice Spice with a giant grin. But in all seriousness, like, this song is so fun. It's so smooth. It's just like, it's kind of like, it's weird. It feels like a turn up song for home. It feels like a turn up song for home where you're in your mood. You're just, you're getting ready for bed, or you're about to go out, you're about to have a night out, and you're brushing your teeth, and you're like, I'm there, I'm in my mood, it's just that simple. It communicates something that is ineffable. It's just that simple. She's in her mood, and it makes me in my mood too. Number 4 is a song that, if you can't have fun with, you're a boring person. You're a boring person if you can't have fun with the song. I'm sorry. That's The Hillbillies by Baby Keem and Kendrick. When we got the return of Kendrick, when Family Ties and Range Brothers came out a couple of years ago, I was like, yes, we got fun Kendrick back. And we got glimpses of that on Mr. Morale, which was a very, emotional album. But like Baby Keem and Kendrick, their chemistry, of course, is unmatched. Like, they've been on tour together. When it seems like they're working together, making music videos, like doing like weird collaborations, they're doing it together, and the chemistry just keeps getting better and better and better. And this song, it's so fun. The beat is bizarre. It's a fucking strange song. It's so strange, but some of the bars are fucking hilarious. Messi, get girls out the stage because somebody's gonna get tasered, with the Drake interpolation from Sticky, which was one of the best songs from Honestly Nevermind. But the interpolation of that flow is fire. Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar's back and forth, their punchlines, it just makes you want to dance. Yeah, again, not that deep. It's just another really, really fucking fun song. Number 3 is from an artist I'd never heard of until this year. Really, really fucking emotional song. Very dramatic as well. Younger and Dumber by Indigo D'Souza. Lyrically, it's a really simple song. And the emotions are communicated without pretense or without any wishy-washy lyrics or anything like that. It's just really, really straight to the point. Maybe a trend in this list is like, I put a lot of songs on here that tend to build and simmer as they go on. And I think this is the best example of it, where it starts here and it ends up here. And by the time you get to the end of the song, it's like, I feel like I've listened to a whole fucking album just listening to this song, just the amount of different emotions have been put through. Of course, it's called Younger and Dumber. It's a song about aging, but also being, I guess, kind of exploited by others and being taken advantage of. And I don't know if the lyrics suggest that she, kind of, because of this trauma, has come to like blame herself for being naive and being dumb, which I guess, is what happens with a lot of people who have been through some sort of traumatic experience. But this song is just like, it's just emotion in a bottle. And because the lyrics are so simple, half of the emotion also comes from just her vocal delivery, which is just so powerful and unfiltered. My runner-up. I thought this was going to be number 1. This came out right at the end of 2022, so I'm placing it on this list. This is Prague by SL. Now, I'm not going to lie, this song is on here for some sentimentality as well. People don't usually put SL and sentimentality in the same breath, but coincidentally, this song dropped like a week after I'd booked tickets to go to Prague. Yeah. So I booked my tickets, and a week later, after Christmas, he drops this song, and then I'm literally flying out to Prague like 3 or 4 days after that. So I showed my partner this song, and she's like, "Oh my god, this is fucking fire as well." So on the plane to Prague, I'm listening to it, and then like I'm literally walking down Charles Bridge in Prague. Like, get there, partner's having a nap. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go to Lidl. I'm gonna walk around Prague for like an hour or something, and then we'll get back, have dinner. And I'm just walking around Prague, listening to Prague, and I'm like, this is fucking perfect. This is the soundtrack to my fucking holiday. But aside from the sentimentality, like, the beat is fucking beautiful. Like, the beat is genuinely fucking beautiful. Yeah, the bars are fucking... His bar about 2 bills on packs for Dan Welbeck. How the hell the game shagged me, complaining about his FIFA packs. Oh, man. But it's like his flow is so... You know, SL has this really, really laid back, you know... I think it's fucking hilarious. And I think it's never worked better than here. You know, that heart stay frozen. And again, I'm doing things in the forward motion. Nigga like me had her legs wide open. It's like that for the entire song. And the energy levels never really change. And that can be... It can either be... you know, it can be really, really like just like trance inducing, like I can't get this flow out of my head, or it can be really, really boring. And I think it's the former. I think it's like I can't stop replaying this song. And no part of it to do is just the fact that I spent 4 days in Prague listening to Prague over and over again, but I think it is a genuinely amazing song. It's really fun. It's so smooth. It's the best SL's ever sounded, in my opinion. And again, like a lot of my songs are just because they're fucking fun. They're just fun. There were a lot of fun songs this year, and this is maybe the most fun I've had listening to a song. Yeah. And number one, again, this is a song that is tied to memories. I was in Hungary, and I woke up at like 7 a.m. and I saw that this dropped. This is What a Day by Tyler, the Creator, from The Estate Cell. I saw this dropped. It was like 7 a.m. I'm in this town in Hungary, outside Budapest. I wake up, my partner's asleep, and I'm like, I can't wait until I get back to London to fucking react to this. I'm listening to this now. I don't care. I don't care if I have to sacrifice a video for this. And I listen to it. All these songs are fire. I get to What a Day. I look at the credits. I always see who's producing it. I'm like, Madlib and Tyler, the Creator. What the fuck is going on? Listen to it. I'm spinning it for hours on end, for like 3 hours, just over and over and over again. I couldn't get enough of this song. What a Day. What a Day kind of, it's like, the beat is one of the best Madlib beats I've ever fucking heard. Obviously, it's an unreleased old Madlib beat from like 10 years ago. But what Tyler floats of it, he floats over it like I've never heard him before. Like, this is one of the best rapping versions of Tyler I think I've ever heard. But it's because the instrumental is so summery and light, but the high pitch and the What a Day, it's just ever so creepy, and it allows Tyler to be a bit dark in some of his lyrics about how he's lost his intimacy with people, and he's got anxiety in his chest. He doesn't enjoy hanging out. He doesn't enjoy going to parties and all this stuff, which isn't a bad thing. But like, there's these things where he just seems like he's not enjoying certain things. He's saying, "My lady will kill me if she knew the things I was desiring," which is probably an allusion to his sexuality. But just like, oh man, I can't get enough of this song. Like, the bar, it's super simple. It's just the beat and Tyler, and that's it. There's no crazy pyrotechnics. There's no like, because a lot of Tyler's best music is him, showing off his production chops, and because he's an amazing fucking producer. He's not. This is one of the. There's a handful of songs, Tyler Creator songs, that are not produced by Tyler Creator, and it has to be a special beat if he's gonna hop on it. And this really, really fucking is. Yeah, the bars are some of the best Tyler rapping I've ever heard. The beat is fucking amazing. I've got memories attached to it. Like, I was on a train going through Hungarian fields listening to this, and then I went to Sicily a few months later, and I'm like walking up this mountain and it's like 40 degrees heat, and I'm listening to What a Day, and I'm like, yes, this is What a Day. This is fucking beautiful. Yeah, yeah, this song is this when I think of the year 2023, this is the song I'm going to think of. But yeah, those are my 50 favorite songs of 2023. I will be doing my albums video very, very soon. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, what's some of your favorite songs of the year.